Hey, what's up, guys? Oops. So, last video was pretty cool. We talked about the utility and importance of using categories to help one navigate the incredibly huge ocean that is stories. And we went over one example, Monster in the House. We went over the components to it and how it works, and we covered a lot of other interesting ideas. And in this video, I want to cover at least two more. I know I ramble a lot, but I'm going to try to keep it concise. And before I want to before we go into these next two categories, I just want to make a quick point. It's not going to take too long, I promise. If you recall the previous videos where we went over logline, one of the features of a good logline that Snyder points out is the usage of irony. In the logline for Pretty Woman, rich guy falls in love with hooker that he hires for the weekend, right? Irony is a hook that gets people interested, and it is a oh shoot, sorry, I just dropped my trail. Is it trail of thought or train of thought? It's as it's like an itch that you have to scratch. You're curious and you're interested and you're wanting to see what happens and how could that happen. uh, Irony, now that I think about it, is actually used in every of these structures. I guess I don't know how irony is used in Monster in the House, but especially in these next two. So I just wanted to bring that up. Keep your so the next two structures that I want to point out that have irony as a central feature. Let's just focus on the next one right here. The next one, which is a great structure, is called the Golden Fleece. The Golden Fleece. Now, again, the Golden Fleece gets its name from this old Greek myth of Jason and the Argonauts, where they go on this huge quest from point A to point B to get this thing called a Golden Fleece. And I forget how it turns out, but the Golden Fleece structure of a story has this main component about it, is that you have someone on a quest, or rather you have somebody on a quest to get some big important thing, and it's a long quest, okay? And the central feature of the Golden Fleece story is that the journey to get that thing at the end of the journey ends up being more important unexpectedly than the thing itself. Great example, great example, classic, is The Wizard of Oz. Now let's think. Story of The Wizard of Oz. You have Dorothy, who wants to get home, the Iron Man, who wants a brain, the Lion, who wants courage, and I think there's a fourth one, I forget. You have these characters that have some kind of problem in their life, some kind of lacking, something that they need. They hear about this wonderful Wizard of Oz, who's more or less a magical figure or something, who has the power to grant people what they want. Let's say it's like a wishing fulfillment, let's say. So they follow the Yellow Brick Road, this big journey to get to the Wizard of Oz. Now, when they finally get there, well, there's a lot of milestones. There's a lot of things that happen on the way there that ironically showcase how the characters already have within them the means that they need to fulfill whatever lacking that they think they have. Like, for example, the lion wants courage. There's something that happens along the journey to the Wizard of Oz where the lion finds courage in order to do something. For example, like, they don't notice it, but they already have what they need. And so the story follows that once they get to the Wizard of Oz, they discover that the Wizard of Oz is a fraud. He actually is not magical or anything like that. It's all a hoax. But secondly, and more importantly, the characters realize that they have within what they need already. And so it's a story that, hey, I have a problem. I need this thing to fix this problem. Let me go on this journey to get this thing. But then along the way, you kind of realize, oh, I actually didn't need that thing at all. I actually had what I needed inside the whole time. Sounds a little cheesy, but here, another example, let's say, is Ocean's 11. In fact, Snyder actually makes the point that all heist movies, so I think maybe The Italian Job or Ben Affleck movies, The Town. I don't know if The Town considers a heist movie, but you have a group of individuals that band together for a common goal. And the film is about them achieving that goal. But a good Golden Fleece is such that the characters, the personal development and the insights that they acquire throughout their journey toward that goodie ends up ironically becoming more important. A self-realization that they didn't expect becomes more important than the thing that they're aiming for anyway. And sometimes the thing that they're aiming for either doesn't exist, or they don't get it's not what they thought they wanted, etc. It becomes less important. We talked about Wizard of Oz. We talked about heist movies. Another great example, Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph, in my opinion, is a great Golden Fleece story. In my opinion, it's a Golden Fleece story, and in my opinion, it's a wonderful Golden Fleece story. You have a character who's sick and tired of being an unappreciated villain, who thinks that in order to have friends and to have a generally, I don't know, positive existence or something, he has to become a hero. He wants to abandon his role as a unloved villain, and he wants to become a hero. And so he gets this idea in his head that what he needs to get is to get a medal. He needs to win some kind of game where he gets a medal, and then that medal is going to make him a hero, and then he's going to be loved and be happy. And so the film is about his journey to get that medal. And then by the end of the film, he makes friends with, I forget the name of the character, but she's voiced by Sarah Silverman, that race car girl. And there's this point in the movie where he has to make a choice between getting the medal and, betraying his friend. A friend, Wreck-It Ralph doesn't really have any friends, and so this one friendship that he made has a lot of value to him. And so he has to make a choice between getting the medal, which was the point of the movie, or betraying his friend. He ends up betraying his friend. He gets the medal. He gets what he wanted, okay? But then he realizes that it wasn't worth it. That the medal, the thing that he thought what he wanted, that he thought was going to fix his problems, actually didn't do any of that. And actually what he really wanted was friendships, which he unexpectedly managed to get without even on his way to getting the medal. So he realizes this, he throws away the medal, he goes back and he rescues his friend, he apologizes, and then he has a personal revelation of that being happy is not about being a hero, it's not about having a medal, it's not about any of that. It's about the relationships that you have with other people. And like the last line of the movie is that if this little girl can think of me as a great friend, then I mustn't be that terrible of a guy anyway, right? It's revelation that what you thought you needed wasn't really what you needed. And the story and the milestones that happen are all things that push the character, progressively to that realization. Oh my God, I actually don't need that. I actually had it all along. So that's a Golden Fleece. We have Wreck-It Ralph, we have Wizard of Oz, and we have heist movies. Let's see. So yeah, he says, very often the mission becomes secondary to other more personal discoveries. The twists and turns of the plot are suddenly less important than the meaning derived from the quest, from the journey. There's actually some video games that are coming to my mind now. But so a character's on a journey, and the personal development of the journey becomes more important than the actual journey itself. And to me, that's irony. That's irony. And it's wonderful. I think it's great. If you have any other examples of a good Golden Fleece film, a good story film, or a good movie that has a quest in it that has this ironic feature, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. And then let's go to the next. So we did Monster in the House, Golden Fleece. The next one, again, irony, is a story structure that Snyder calls out of the bottle. Out of the bottle. Now, out of the bottle, the short and end of it is that it is a wish fulfillment story. A wish fulfillment story. I wish I had fill in the blank. I wish I had a girlfriend. I wish I had money. I wish I had parents. I wish blah, blah, blah. Fill in the blank. And again, the quick and dirty of it is that an individual makes a wish. That wish is granted. And then throughout the course of the movie, there is a kind of realization that that wish, or first of all, the belief that the wish is necessary. The hero realizes that it's not true. Case in point, okay, we have Aladdin. Aladdin is a good out of the bottle example, at least at my current thinking of it. You have a poor boy, a street rat, who falls in love with the princess. He finds a genie, and Aladdin believes that because he's poor, whatever value that he might have will not be appreciated and recognized by Jasmine unless he becomes materially a prince. So he gets a wish. Genie, I want you to make me a prince. All right. So he becomes a prince. He becomes Prince Ali Ababwa. Jasmine falls in love with him. Okay. But then he unwittingly is in position to become sultan, and he is overwhelmed with responsibilities that he didn't anticipate. So, well, what ends up happening is that Aladdin realizes that a lot of the problems that he's accrued is a direct result of him not being honest from the get-go. His belief that he needed to put up an act and be something that he's not is something that he realizes in the end as a mistake. He realizes that he should not have lied. He should have been honest. And so by the end of the movie, when Genie offers him the third wish to remake him a prince again, Aladdin rejects that, sets the genie free, and the king, the sultan, amends the law, allowing Jasmine to marry whoever she wants. And so from my understanding, the point of that story, if you remember the Street Rat song, would they see a poor boy? No siree. They'd find out there's so much more to me. Aladdin has value, but he doesn't have faith that his value is enough. That's his character. That's his flaw, so to speak. And so by the end of the film, he realizes that mistake, and then his attempts to rectify that by faking something through a wish was a mistake. He didn't really need the wish to begin with. He was more than enough from the beginning. And so that's generally how out of the bottle stories function. And so let's go over some of the. So those are the big picture, low resolution, big picture kind of twists and turns of the plot. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the details about it. The wish fulfillment, first of all, does not necessarily have to be a wish. As in, you don't need a genie or a fairy godmother necessarily. It could be here. It could be magic, like a genie or a fairy godmother. It could be luck. I wish I had money. Somebody wins the lottery, and then they discover how much of a burden money is, and then they realize that, or then they wish that they never had it. It could be luck. It could be divine intervention. It could be divine intervention. You know, Bruce Almighty. It's a great wish fulfillment story, right? You realizing that the burden of being God is actually a lot worse than he thought, and that I can't actually remember. I can't actually quote the way that movie goes out, but and so to wrap this up, and I guess I kind of alluded to that right then and there, that the wish fulfillment, although typically is a positive acquisition, you make a wish for something that you want, you get what you want, you realize you don't need it at the end of the movie. There's also the version of the wish fulfillment story that is a curse. Liar Liar is a good example of that. You have a lawyer who has a dysfunctional, well, he's not a proper father to his son, not a proper husband to his wife. He lies like hell to them both and in his job. His son makes a wish that he can't lie. He all of a sudden has to tell the truth. And so he has to function well at his job without lying but telling the truth. And he has to rectify his relationships with his son and his wife by being honest. And so he has to grow tremendously to succeed at all these things while being honest. And then by the end of the film, okay, he's seen that way of life is better. At the beginning, he says it's a curse. Oh my God, I can't lie. This sucks. By the end of the film, he realizes, no, actually being honest is actually better. He's found a way to do his job well, to be a father, to be a husband while telling the truth. And then at 8:15, when the curse wears off, where he can lie again, he still tells the truth. He still tells his son, Max, I love you more than anything in the world. And it's true. And so it's it's ironic because a curse leads to personal growth. So Wish fulfillment, something positive. The character realizes that it's not necessary. Wish curse, the character hates the curse but then realizes that it's a blessing in disguise. Both of them have irony. Does that make sense? So, okay. So when talking about liar, liar says Jim's going to have to change his ways to grow if he is to survive, and by doing so, he gets what he really wants in life in the first place. Irony, which is the respect of his wife and son. Fine, I can live with that. So let's just go over what Snyder has to say about this, and then we'll end the video. Okay, the rules of Out of the Bottle are this. Let's just go over what he has to say. If it's a wish fulfillment tale, the hero must be a put upon Cinderella, who is under the thumb of those around him, that we are really rooting for anyone or anything to give him a little happiness. And yet, so the rules tell us, as human nature dictates, we don't want to see anyone, even the most underdog characters, succeed for too long, and eventually the hero, you can live without that sentence, the hero must learn that magic isn't everything. It's better to be just like us. Because in the end, we know that will never happen to us. I think that's a lousy way to put it, in my opinion. The hero realizes that the benefits from the wish that he thought he needed actually isn't necessary, and that he actually has the means to do what he wants. So in this case, there's a lot of overlap, let's say, in the morale between Wish Out of the Bottle and Golden Fleece. When there is a lacking and you think that that's something that you need, you realize that you don't need it. So you could say Golden Fleece and Out of the Bottle are very close genetically, let's say. Okay, so and if it's a curse version, if it's a comeuppance tale, which is what the word that Snyder chooses to use, if it's a comeuppance tale version Out of the Bottle, then the opposite setup is applied. Here's a guy or gal who needs a swift kick in the behind, and yet there must be something redeemable about them. This is a little trickier to pull off and must include a save the cat scene on the outset, where we know that even though this guy or girl is a jerk, there's something in them that's worth saving. Okay, so case in point, liar, liar. Jim Carrey is a liar, and he's a lousy, doesn't perform his job as a father and a husband well, but there's something redeemable about him. What is that? That he has there is genuine love for his son. At the beginning of the movie, it's like, oh, son, my hand is itchy. Oh, no, Dad. Oh, yeah, it's the claw. That's when you see that. He loves his son, and he's a fun father. That's when you know there's something great about this guy. He deserves to, we want to see him win. Because we know that a win for him means a win for his son and a win for his wife. And so, but he needs a kick in the behind because his ways are screwing things up. And so here's a curse that's going to force him to grow. Again, irony. Okay, so that's it. That was Golden Fleece journey that ends up ironically leading to the development of the character. And then a wish fulfillment, whose fulfillment ironically leads to the character realizing that the wish wasn't necessary to begin with, and that he or she has within him what he or she needed from the beginning. There's also a curse element to it, which is a blessing in disguise that forces the character to grow despite the obstacles and ends up at the end better off than he or she was from the start. So Jim Carrey films are very out of the bottle. Liar, Liar, Bruce Almighty, The Mask, those are all wish fulfillment stories. So if you can think of any good wish fulfillment stories that have similar elements to them, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. We can, chit chat about this stuff. So thanks for tuning in. In the next video, we'll go over probably 2 or 3 more structures. So hope you enjoyed that. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe. Again, feel free to drop a comment, talk to me, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.